Good day, Miss Sarah.
Hello,
How are
Miss
you?
Tracy.
How are you today?
I am fine. How are you?
I am wonderful. So welcome everyone to Tea Time with Barrett and Tracy. Hope everyone's having a happy Monday so far. How's your Monday? How is everything since you have returned home from
Thank you,
your
Miss
vacation?
Tracy. It's been a long trip back, but a very good trip. It is tough to be back and working and hard, but continuing and getting back on track and into the daily rhythm. Looking forward to our next trip going back. How are you, Miss Tracy? How is the
I
foot?
am, the foot is healing very well, the doctors say. I am still finishing up my last little packing. As you can see, these clinical walls in here. Uh, so all the artwork and decor has been removed. It's very clinical in my environment right now, but that's how it is when you're about to transition.
It is.
And
Are you looking forward to your transition?
I didn't sleep very well over the past week. I think it's a little bit of anxiousness, wanting to, journey into what's next. But slept better last night. I have another week to go. I can't leave Maryland until the 10th.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I have another doctor's appointment, a final appointment on the 7th. Um, and then I'll get the okay that I can drive the distance that I'm driving to. But all is well. I am resting. I have my trusty warm blanket sweater on, and I don't have any tea today because all of my teacups are packed away. So I am just relaxing and recuperating and packing all at the same time. So are we ready to get into our question for today?
yes, we are. And I think that for our listeners, I think it would be good if you would repeat the question and the reason why we're looking into this.
So it's in line with our Mirror Mirror series and how we perceive our reflections. And I was reading an article a few weeks ago, and it said the following. According to a study by the American Association of University Women, girls lose their self-esteem on the way to adolescence. And there are books on the subject that suggest that girls lose their voice as they confront the demands to become subservient and silent in order to be attractive to males. So that begs our question for today, which is, Barrett, can you pinpoint a single event in your adolescence that attributed to the decrease of your self-esteem and the loss of your voice?
Thank you, Miss Tracy. I think that my challenge is a little bit that I was never silenced by my mother. And I know that the study is there. And I think that one of my challenges, especially since my teenage years and then up till today, is probably that I was never silenced by my mother, that have been taught to speak my mind, and due to the way that I speak my mind, I have an ability to maybe create some results, but I may also have the ability to get myself into trouble that people do not usually handle maybe with a woman. I am not sure if that makes sense or is logical, but I think that the fact that I have been taught to speak my mind, it does give different challenges.
And relating to your self-esteem, has your self-esteem levels always or consistently been high? Nothing has ever caused your self-esteem to decrease? From
No,
adolescent.
I think that my self-esteem actually could have been in my young years a lot better. Maybe had I been silent and been like everyone else. I think that this way, I think that I have always been divergent compared to others due to the fact that I have been taught to speak my mind. Not that speaking my mind has ever, I am not talking about cursing out and talking a bad language or anything like that, or blaming other people, because I have especially been taught to be responsible for what I do. But the fact that I have been always so direct in my attempt and solution oriented, I think that that has gotten me in a lot of trouble. But I also think that it has created many good results and that it has helped me. But I am sure that my self-esteem, not sure, I know my self-esteem in many years when I was young was low. And I am thinking, could this be the reason? The reason that I wasn't silent, that I didn't, that I could maybe have gained a lot more had I not spoken my mind. Who knows? How do you feel, Miss Tracy?
So for me, on the way to adolescence, the event I would say that had the ability to decrease my self-esteem would be my introduction to jealousy, envy, and competition from my peers. Based on my presentation, my physical attributes, my fashion sense, I was a very fashionable child. My mother is very materialistic to this day. So all name brands, things that were very expensive is how I dressed from the time I was born. So by the time I got to middle school, I was met with a lot of hostility and negativity from females in my peer group and upper grades that were always challenging whether or not what I was wearing was real, or because I had the latest fashions and the trends that they didn't have, they were nasty towards me. So a part of me wanted to not stand out as much as I did. I wanted to be a wallflower. I wanted my mother to not adorn me with such expensive clothing and things of that nature, and that's not who she is. So I was never going to get that request honored by her, but I had to learn how to navigate such negative climates, and out, that carried on throughout adolescence and adulthood. I could walk into a room just being me, and the perception is that I think I'm better than, and people would ostracize me. So I started to try to blend in. I as a adult, where it is I was in control of my presentation, I became less flashy.
So if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is that being silent then had an impact on the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you behave, on all your doings.
Over time, it did. So it was a systematic process. It was slow. It wasn't, I learned that how I was, how I am, because I realigned with my true identity over the past couple of years. That who I am, I learned that who I am did not fit. Who I am wasn't well received, and I had a unquenchable thirst for acceptance and for love. So I wanted friends. I wanted intimate partners and confident in who I am, in my walk, in my talk, and in my presentation would adversely impact my ability to have those things. So I started to reinvent myself to a lower version, a more acceptable version. And I found out the hard way that that didn't get me what I wanted either. So, so basically, as a child or in approaching adolescence, I learned that having a high level of self-esteem, having a high level of self-worth and confidence was not received well by others. So over time, like I said, systematically, I began to decrease my levels on my own so that I could get those things that I wanted from other people. That acceptance, again, that love, that camaraderie.
Listening to you and how the impact it has had on you, knowing that your voice was not or not using your inner guidance vocally in a voice, brings to me that from listening and the awareness of how what impact it has had on you, I can say for me, my voice is that I have been taught that my voice is a voice, that it's only a voice. So even though that I might say it, I might not be right. It's a way that we, when we come together, communicate with one another or reach out, and the common understanding is in our wording. So trying to work with that compared to how you have been taught, the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, how that is how you get to your goal, all of a sudden gives me an incredible awareness of many of the girls that I have worked with. They use their body, they use their everything but their voice. Everything but their voice. So our talk today, Miss Tracy, is really giving me a deep awareness of how important or the impact that our upcoming has on our self-esteem and the role that we play, and how difficult it is to break out of it. Because it is much more than it's the way you are, very deep. Whereas for me, I see if something is not working for me, just change it. Doesn't mean that I change my situation or many. I don't change. I just say what what I have within. I let it out, and sometimes I go with it, but sometimes I don't. It doesn't have that strong impact on my personality. I think that there are other things that has a much higher impact on me and my personality than my voice. Does that make sense?
It does. For me, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
For me, I don't contain when I say your voice. I am speaking of your voice, your truth, but it's all encompassing for me. It's my image. Um, it's everything. So as a child, I have always had an aversion to people in situations that try to control me. And it's funny that I would not allow anyone to control who I am. I would not allow anyone to silence my voice. I would not allow anyone to make me do something that I didn't feel was right. But as an adult, I made a decision to relinquish my power to everybody else. So and I relinquished my power to the point where I allowed people's perceptions to control me. And I wanted to change their perception of me and the only way that I could do that was to change me. So I wasn't as vocal as I was in previous years. It would take a lot for me to speak on a subject. Always an advocate for myself and others, but I decreased that a little over the years because I would be the only one standing there advocating for equality, and everyone else would power, and I would be the one in these meetings, but then who would get they would get the adverse action towards them. It wouldn't come towards me, it would go towards them, and then I would feel guilty because I spoke up for their situation, and had I not, they would still have their job, or because they can't get to me, they are attacking these people. So I internalized a lot of people's behaviors and their perceptions of me. And now I'm at the place where I understand your perception is based on your experiences. So if something walks like, smells like, looks like experience that you had before that was not all that favorable, then you're going to respond how you responded years ago when you had that experience. If you don't know me, you can't come to the conclusion of how I view myself in comparison to the rest of society. You can't, if the thing that I've heard most of my existence is you think that you're better than, and I hear that within my own family. And I got to the point where I could say, I am. And this is why I am better than. I am better than because my love for myself is more evolved than your love for yourself. So things that you would do to yourself or allow to be inflicted upon you, I wouldn't stand for. So if that makes me, if you think that because I love myself a little more than you love yourself, that makes me better than you, that's your interpretation. That's not my interpretation. So I started to look at things based on that fact that people's perceptions are theirs. They have nothing to do with me. I know who I am, so I stopped hiding. I stopped letting people disrespect me. I stopped being a martyr. I stopped betraying myself. I had betrayed myself for the past decade. And the past 2 years, post that 10-year cycle, I had to come to terms with the fact that I betrayed me, therefore I gave license to everyone else to betray me.
So for the listeners, Miss Tracy, what is your best advice?
To be true to yourself. Squares don't fit into circles, so stop trying. If you are a circle, own being a circle. If you're a square, own being a square. Stop trying to reconfigure who you are to fit someone else's dynamic. Not saying that we can't compromise, but when you start compromising your truth, your true identity to fit someone else's dynamic or a system or group, you are betraying yourself. And that's not going to have positive, it's not going to benefit you in the long run. It's going to start a pattern of behavior that is not going to benefit you in a long time. And once you start that snowball rolling, it's going to pick up steam. You're going to find that you do that in all situations. And it takes a high level of self-awareness to recognize that you're doing that. Stop the train and take it down another path. So if I can save you the heartache, the energy, the lessons are great. Every lesson is great, but if I can save you the heartache and the energy and the tears and tell you that if you are circle, love in a circle. If you're square, love in a square. That means you can't consult with, other shapes. Just don't shape shift. Love who you are. Accept who you are. And those who don't accept it, not a good thing, not a bad thing. It's it just is what it is.
I think my best advice to listeners is that, and I am a little bit on the other scale, is that sometimes it is good to be able to not speak. It is good, I think that always being vocal and always have had an opportunity to say my mind. I think that my body language is weaker. And I think that I could have gained from maybe balancing some of the challenges. But where I stand today, and I will say that, I think that facing same trouble as you are, not fitting in, not feeling belonging, feeling different, I think that it has taught me to stand alone. But I also think that sometimes I can gain a lot from not telling my mind. Sometimes it goes against what I was taught, and I think that it's also a way that we help each other, because it's only words. And I think if you tell someone, if we think a little coaching, like words are not as heavy as if you feel a body, or the body language is much more powerful. So I think this way that many women may, with the silence of the voice, be very powerful in their body language. I think that what's come out of this for me is that I just adore differences. Different opinions, the way that we see the same, but we don't discover the same, and we don't get the same out of that for me is just extremely powerful today. But I also think that what is that our voice is how we make others feel. And I think that with all the artificial intelligence coming, and the way and the impact that will have, at the end of the day, there are thousands of life coaches out there. But of all the life coaches, a few of them fit and match me, who I am, what I am. And it becomes more important over time now that we have the ability to understand ourselves. So my best is ensure that one goes into a network and finds where one feels that one belongs, because that's what we need. We definitely need to come together and find out what is the right thing for me. And you do that by interacting, and you need to talk. You don't ask a question because you want to insult someone or you want to be rude or anything. You ask because you see the world differently. So you need to find out how can my understanding come to terms with what you're saying. Does it make sense?
Yes.
That was the last words from me. Would you like to wrap up and wish our listener a good week?
I think you're doing a wonderful job so far, so why don't you go ahead?
Dear listeners, thank you for joining Miss Tracy and I in our Mirror Mirror. We will be coming back next Monday, same time, same place, going even further with our self-worth and our discussions, how the impact is and what roles. I think that we will take it and wrap it up and continue going deeper and deeper. And the awareness that I'm hoping that we bring on. We answer all questions in the forums, and we are here for all our listeners. We want to wish you a great week and take care.
Bye.